The other day I saw a burglar kicking in his own door. It's like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, working from home. Hey kids, Adam here. Welcome to episode 2 in the Bass in the Life of Dad. This is the one I've been teasing for a while. This is the one you've been waiting for. The 2001 Zon Sonus Custom. So in episode 1, I went through all the different Ibanez phases that I was in, and I was on the EDC 700 and I was looking for something better. So my good friend Peter Duncan said, dude, you have to try a Zon. I said, I don't know anywhere that I can try one out because I have to try out a bass before I play it. There's just no way I can jump in there. Future episodes changed my mind on that, but he said, you just have to try it. Even if I have to like ship one to you to try and you ship it back. I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. But Final Guitar Center in Arlington Heights, Illinois had the Zon Sonus model. We drove down there, wife and I, in a, 6-month-old at the time, maybe 9-month-old, something around there. And tried this bass out and immediately fell in love with it. So I worked with Joe Zon. You know, I like you call up Zon Guitars. This is Joe Zon. How may I help you? He and I worked together to come out with colors, the configurations, and it's truly a one-of-a-kind bass. Grab it here. So this is it in all its glory. The 2001 Zon Sonus Custom. Check out this finish, and my lights are going to get in the way and the reflections are going to get in the way, but the finish on this thing is amazing. Check out the back. It is the cobalt blue color, which in certain lights looks black, in other lights looks blue, and other lights looks teal. You can kind of see the great job they did. Let's see if I can get this in here focused, matching the wood on the top. It looks like it's one seamless piece where it's not. There's just, as soon as I saw the color on this thing, and I remember picking it up at the shop, and they were like, dude, you're going to hate this bass. The finish looks like shit. And I was kind of like, what? Huh? What? And the guy laughed and opened the case up, and I'm like, oh, I mean, you could like seriously stare into this finish for hours. Oh, sorry. You guys are still here. All right, so on the bass itself, we start with the pickups. These two are Bartolini soap bar pickups, and the two of these pickups alone were worth any other bass that I previously owned in my life. So I knew I was taking a different step there. We have volume knob, we have bass knob, we have mid knob, we have treble knob, and we have pickup selector. Very, very simple. Most of the time I have the bass bumped up a little bit, treble and mid, and mid's a little bit past. It's really, I'll show you a couple songs in a second. Really aggressive. And the pickup selector, I used to play it just a little bit to the bridge pickup. Now I play it about halfway over to the neck pickup, just in the different sounds that I've been doing. The neck, as you can see, the back of the neck is a hollow graphite neck. It does have a glossy finish on the back, but it's really fast. Fingerboard is like a impregnated birch wood, wood or something, and you basically can't put marks in it. Like when people play these on fretlesses, they play round wound strings because it doesn't matter. Most fretboards, you don't want to play round wound strings on a fretless because it'll dig in there. This thing is no problems there. Active electronics, battery cover in the background. Remember to change your batteries, folks. PSA from yours truly. And the only thing I've done custom on this thing was I added a hip shot tuner to be able to tune down to D if I ever need it. Let's plug this thing in and show you some sounds. All right, so here is everything up the middle. Both pickups just right up the middle. I have a little bit of a bass boost just because it's bass, and you have to do the bass boost on the bass to make it more bass. So the bridge pickup all the way on sounds like almost like a jazz bass, you know, with the bridge on full, you know, the Jocko style, you know. And the neck pickup all the way on almost sounds like a P bass. like I said, kind of prefer halfway between the neck pickup and on full, you know. It has a little bit more definition to it, and it's not as aggressive. The preamp, the active preamp in here is super aggressive. So we'll do see if I can do this 2 hands here. I'll do the mid knob, and I'll move it up and down as I play it, just to open A string here. So that's the mids all the way off. And it's probably actually clipping right now. So I'll either leave the mids all the way up at 500 or just a little past, just a tiny bit. And then treble, I usually leave this right up the middle. Every once in a while, I will boost it for maybe a Marcus Miller slap thing, you know. Or cut it for if I'm doing something more like an effect thing. I mean, I'll do the same thing with a G string here. So this is treble all the way down, and that's all the way up. Not a huge deal, but leave it up the middle. Don't mess with it. Volume, I almost always keep all the way up unless I'm doing some kind of weird, you know, Van Halen type thing that I almost never do. So yeah, so like I said, I worked directly with Joe Zon from Zon Guitars to get this thing built. And it was during what I call my big bass revolution of 2000. I'll put a card up here to my Plateau Theory video where I kind of talked about that. I was trying to redo my bass technique and life and style of music I was playing and everything. So I'd gotten this bass on order. It took a good 6 months for them to build this. Zon at the time was a very, very small shop, and they probably still are, but it was literally 3 people. There was a sales guy, there was a shop guy, and there was the owner who also built the basses. Bodies were all hand drawn by a template traced, but they weren't machined. Pickups are hand wound. Everything on this bass is basically made from hand. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It sounds amazing. It looks amazing. It feels amazing. It's the lightest bass I've owned. I don't know why I'm doing this to show you how light it is, but it's probably half the weight of like a standard Fender P bass. It's just everything I could have asked for. And over all these years, I mean, this is a 2001 model, and I got it in maybe March of 2001, and I've had it ever since, and I'm never going to get rid of it. I've had probably 20 people ask me to sell it, and I've said no to all 20 people. I've had one person like every 3 or 4 years contact me out of the blue and say, "Hey, you selling that bass yet?" And I'm like, "Nope, don't bother me anymore. Sorry, dude." But at the time, I was kind of going through this like crossroads of should I play a 5-string, should I not play a 5-string? And I decided at the end of the day, I heard an interview with Billy Sheehan saying, why don't you play 5-strings? Like, when I started playing those 4-strings, and that's all there were. And I'm going to kind of steal that because I started playing on 4 strings. I've always used 4 strings, and that's just what I'm using. 4 actual strings. You will not be surprised that I'm using these Zon brand of strings. These are the Ronwan Nickels, and I go back and forth between either the regular gauge or the medium gauge. Regulars are your standard 45, 65, 85, 105. If you don't know what this means, don't worry about it. And the medium are 46, 63, 80, 102. So it's a little heavier on the top and a little lighter as you go down. I've kind of gone back and forth. Sometimes they've been out of stock. For a while, I actually used their steel strings as opposed to the nickel, and those were good. Those were more of a hard rock feel when I was in more of a hard rock band. But for now, I'm sticking with the nickels. They sound very good. They're not as bright as the steels, obviously, but they keep their life forever, and they stay in tune forever. In fact, through all the things that I've recorded through here, I never had to change the tuning. I checked it a lot, never had to change it. And I'm very, very confident that, especially with, there's no truss rod in the neck because it is hollow. I don't have to mess with it. Wisconsin winters, Wisconsin summers. Yeah, screw you. Zon says, screw you, Wisconsin weather. We can handle it. So let me play you some sound samples here. This first one, as I was going through my big bass revolution, I was writing a lot of songs that were in different styles for me. It's more the styles that I'm doing now, but a different style for me at the time. And this first song is from a band called Too Far Down. The song is Information, and this was the first song I recorded on this bass.
wants to touch her face. He'll never be the same. She left him too much information.
So I mentioned Peter Duncan before. Very good friend of mine, really got me into starting to play slap bass, got me into the Zons, got me into a lot of different ways of thinking about bass differently than I had been. And he was working on an album of basically acid loop songs. In fact, kind of inspired me to write this song a number of years later. I'll put a card up here for The Nature of Bass, my first and maybe only ever bass solo song. We'll see. He and I wanted to write a song. Internet at the time, this is 2001, was not very good. So we did a lot of sending files back and forth and FTP sites, and I won't bore you with all the details. So we basically wrote the song over the phone. He had this, his bass was 5 strings. He had this great 5-string riff on a low B with some harmonics and other things. He wanted me to do solo sections and playing in the middle, but we sat through and sent up, parts back and forth. And the entire song, I want to say, was co-written by both of us, but I only played on the middle solo section. So let me play you that. He's doing the kind of Mutron, I don't want to say muddier, but harmonics and affected parts. And I'm doing the clean, tap and then slap parts. Here you go. So after the song Ballistic was just 2001, didn't really know what I was doing for a band. Too Far Down and broken up in maybe 2002 or 2003. I met my good friend Kirk, who's a drummer, and he and I worked for many years on writing and recording and trying to put a band together. Never really got anywhere. And all the recordings were like, 4-track type style. Didn't really get a decent recording. So I don't really have anything to play for you from that era. But he and I both joined a band called World Minus One. And it was more of a hard rock band. Think Evanescence. Evanescence meets like Led Zeppelin. And one of our songs is called Shadows Remain. It was this crazy, started out as a ballad, ended up as like a Black Sabbath kind of chugging along anthem. Let me play you a little bit from there.
And we made from dust and ash. Oh, what did we hope to find on this path? If we caught the sun, would you change your name? We've days in the light, but some shadows will always remain. Back to me, we'll fall apart. Back to me with all your hopes and fears. Despite the years, the way I feel won't change, but some shadows will always remain.
So World Minus One ended. Was looking for a new band. I found the guys that turned out to be my current band, Underground Hive. I will put a playlist to our current album, latest release as of a month ago, Themes from Strange Dreams. Please take a listen, like and share and all that kind of stuff. And while you're at it, like and share and all that stuff and subscribe to the channel here. One of the first songs that we wrote as a band together was called Get Up. And it's been featured on a number of different videos for different things that I've done. Let me play you apart from basically the intro into the verse into the chorus here. right, so the last song I want to play for you is called Strange. This is the most recent song that we've recorded for my band. Still on the album Themes from Strange Dreams, but it's more towards the style that we're going to as a band. Here's going into the guitar solo and On the Way Out. Enjoy. So that is it for the 2001 Zon Sonus Custom bass. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below. If you want me to go over any of the bass parts that I played here in more detail, kind of like I did in the bass chordal slap thing video that I put up, or card up here. Otherwise, leave me a comment, like, subscribe to the video, hit the little bell thing, and until next time, have yourselves an amazing week. Hey kids, Adam here. Welcome to episode 2 in the day in a life of Dad. A bass in a life. Ooh, I gotta do the cash thing. Remember the cash thing. You know what? Forget the cash thing. We're not doing that anymore. That's dumb. I'll try to put a link to Ballistic up here if I have it. If I don't have it, I'm just pointing here and nothing, and I'll just delete this part and you won't see it. Maybe. And I'll include a couple pictures here and there throughout the video. Or I did. Or something.